Boom, boom, bam, bam, Bangkok. Evan Teague in this mother bleeping bitch. Three questions for Evan, 3 questions for Bam. First time set up at the Bangkok spot. Let's get it. Evan, all right, let's just jump into it. What business would you start if you had to start over as a solopreneur / freelancer? Like, what would you, if you had to start all over again?
Yeah. So in my opinion, I think the easiest transition from employee, especially if you have a skill set, is just services. So like, let's say you're working for a firm and it's finance and you're doing some wealth planning or marketing for wealth planners, or let's say working for Amazon as an e-commerce expert or whatever, right? Like specifically, or a copywriter, designer for a big brand, whatever. If you have experience, you have a job, you have a career already, and you're looking to transition into entrepreneurship, I really think that the easiest bridge is to start some service business of your own. Not to say that it's going to be easy, but it'll be worth it if you want a little bit more time freedom and you want to learn how to sell the skill out in the open market by yourself and develop processes to do so, and skill sets and marketing skills that come with that process as well. You can start out and just start making, $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever per month. And then eventually, once you get to the American standard level of income, right, with just at least all your living expenses, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, then you can pretty much quit your first job and then start to do the whole thing full time and scale that up with your time, your energy, your skills, your investment capital that you might have. And I would say like an add-on to that would be pick a niche and pick a skill set that you're going to sell to that niche. And when you're thinking about niches, you should probably think, rather than just like, oh, these guys are running a SaaS business, or these guys are e-commerce entrepreneurs, whatever. You should think more about that industry, but inside a niche is usually defined by people's common pain points and struggles and the things that they're looking for in their life to achieve. And the more that you can help with those, the more you can tie a core messaging around delivering that to them and speaking to them, taking their direct pain points from the research you do up front, and then giving them that back in the messaging that you're selling them with, and overcoming those obstacles with and for them, and then learning the sales closing process.
Yep.
So that's what I would say. Boom.
Take your skills, find a niche within a niche, build yourself as the expert, and that's the transition from the corporate sales into solopreneurship / be your own boss. Evan's been doing that for the past 8 years with copywriting. Now you got your own successful business. Boom. We can get into more of that in a second. All right. Evan, do you have a question for Bam?
Yeah. Bro, what are 3 of your biggest takeaways from your first almost year living and working abroad?
Almost a year.
Yeah.
3 biggest takeaways? That's a good question. Because there's like key points, but I think the biggest thing is like, the thing I most realized for sure, like without a doubt, is what is actually possible. What actually exists. Like,
anything is possible.
Literally that, because you have no idea up until the moment you come out your little circle, bubble, whatever you want to call it, and you take a step outside and you're like, wow, okay, hold on a minute. Like, this is what I knew, but this is what's real. This also exists, and I'm sure there's like 1,000 fucking million things I don't know either, but it's just the most surreal thing. I couldn't give you 3 specific takeaways, but I mean,
but you have to, bro. That was the question.
Mine was like, how about just like, how was your first year as a digital nomad?
Yeah.
Just incredibly surreal. If you haven't plugged my TikTok, my Instagram reel.
Oh yeah.
The most surreal thing.
Watch his 2022 highlight.
It's just incredible.
Link below, or link
somewhere
in the video.
It's just the most surreal thing, because like, we did all these things, like 100% just thanks to these guys for sure. The most incredible thing, like I had no idea like what existed if you didn't open the door. So like, genuine appreciation. I can say it 1,000 times, you'll never understand how much I actually mean it. But the reality is, like, we did all these things, and I'm so glad, like, I just keep everything. I'm so glad I keep everything that I pretty much shoot and just have, because as I was going through it, I didn't even open like 99% of what was shot. That was just like.
Oh, you mean from the highlight reel?
Yeah. There's loads of stuff that I wanted to put in.
Oh yeah.
There's no way I can get this in.
It's too short.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, if I wanted to make sure it kind of fit within like a minute, it can be 1 minute 30, but I was just like, without pushing it too far. But I was just thinking to myself, like, as I went through it, like genuinely my face, my mouth, end to end, I was just like, this is amazing. I can't believe we did this. It just
this year was a blast off.
Yeah.
incredible. So surreal.
All right. Question for me, Evan.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on AI affecting business in 23 and beyond?
Woo! Thank you.
Let's go.
No, yeah, it's I've been going down the ChatGPT wormhole past couple weeks, as a lot of us have.
Yeah.
If you have, leave a robot emoji down below. And if you're watching this far, you probably like this video. Like the freaking video for the algorithm, which we got to get these views up, bros.
We need it for the algorithm.
But it's gonna be an interesting one. It's like Google 2.0. It's like cell phones 2.0. It seems like it's the next kind of evolution. But I mean, we've all kind of known this is AI is coming, robots are coming. I mean, I've been following Ray Kurzweil in the Singularities since 2012 on YouTube. I started following that stuff getting into it in 2012.
Yeah.
So I'm 10 years in to the AI exponential technology guys on YouTube. I'm 10 years into this, and 2023, but ChatGPT is like the first big mainstream thing that's like blowing minds.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get that, please? Thank you. And then it's gonna be really interesting. Obviously, like at some point in the future, we're gonna have like our Tesla bot is gonna go get the door for us right then, and then it's gonna have ChatGPT version 10.0 built into it, and we're gonna be able to say, and it's gonna be able to walk. I mean, Tesla just unveiled a freaking Tesla bot.
Just out of nowhere.
It's gonna all combine,
Just
and it's
so
gonna be
surreal.
humanoids, C-3PO servants walking around. I mean, it's just mind blowing. And then all of the taxis are gonna be automated. But for business, like how I think of ChatGPT right now, and there has been other AI copywriting tools forever, but it's almost like you have an extra VA, or your VA has a team of VAs. So whatever they're doing, like not like the highest level writing or work, but they can like copy and paste stuff at scale way faster with these type of things. It's kind of like, the new version of Google search. What about you? What are your thoughts? That's one of my questions for you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts right now, specifically in the copywriting space that you're in?
Yeah, so obviously, in my opinion, this is going to be a giant tidal wave of like industry change fundamentally, and I think it's inevitable. And I think that anybody who tries to fight against it or rub up against it, outsmart it, whatever, is just going to get priced out as a commodity over time anyway. I don't think there's like no hope or whatever. I just think that we need to work on integrating these things, as we already kind of have started, as fast as humanly possible, because this is going to continue to grow exponentially over the number of years in the future. And it's already able to spit out rudimentary sales copy and email and cold pitches and like sales letters and things like that are like not bad, like not great, and obviously it comes from a computer, but fundamentally it's like the base tenets of a copy are already there when you give it a very direct and specific prompt, which is pretty mind-blowing. And I think that a lot more clients and people and businesses are going to start using this on their own, experimenting with it and integrating it with it anyways. So I think that's for sales copywriters, content bloggers, people like that, SEO guys, they're either going to like get priced out or become more obscure and irrelevant as an effect of this, bursting on the scene. Like a little side note, like it took 6 days to get 1 million users, and like on Netflix it was literally like 41 months if I recall correctly, and Instagram was over a year. So 6 days for 1 million users and growing exponentially. I think that most people are going to become a commodity if they're just writing same level basic sales copy or content or blogging. Of course, Google's trying to ding it and whatnot, but then they just came up with the new update for like spammy content, and they want mainly they want user intent to be reflected in the content, whether it's AI or not. So obviously, even Google and the big search algos are going to have to integrate and adapt with into this. So yeah, that's kind of my outlook on this. My other thing that I would say, the last part of it, is that we're going to have to up level our skill stacks inevitably anyways. So this is a great time for shifting and pivoting and adapting, because right now, if you're just providing words to clients, they can almost already do that themselves at a base level for free with a prompt automatically in 5 seconds.
How different is what it produces. I mean, obviously I'm not too familiar with copywriting, but how different is what ChatGPT produces compared to what you produce?
Yeah, I would say at present, the ChatGPT can spit out like base level, been writing for 6 months, a year, copywriter noobs level for sure, easily.
So that's pretty good. 6 months.
Yeah. But like, even if you give it more direct prompts, I've been playing with this too, obviously. You get more direct prompts, very specific actions that you want it to replicate and produce. It's better than that. Like, it's like mid-level copywriters and whatnot. They cannot do yet like super engaging storytelling, sales copywriting, pain points, benefits, upsells and the guarantee and the angles and hooks and all that super well yet. But that's coming. I'm very confident in that. And same with very sharp response for user intent content on the internet. Yeah. That's already coming, that's already here. So yeah, I mean, it's already rudimentary, like sales copy level.
Deep fakes, that's what I'm worried about.
So now we have the same question for you. What are your thoughts on that?
Do you know what I love about not even just ChatGPT or AI in general. I've been reading about it so much, but like what I realized recently is everyone expected AI, like we all knew AI was coming, but we expected it to kind of take over the whole mathematical wordplay. But the first thing it kind of attacked or really took over was art, which is like, who expected that? Who's like, oh yeah, AI art, that's going to be the first thing that hits. But it's been global, it's gone crazy. Right. But my concern, I say it is a concern, it is a real concern, not for my job, but in any sense of the word. I as far as I'm concerned, I feel like as soon as this stuff becomes more tangible and usable, I want to use it. It's just going to make it easier for me. It's going to make it faster. It's going to make it cleaner. And it's like farming before we had technology and like all these machines. They've kind of gone on their own way, and now there's less farmers, but we can still produce more than enough because we have this technology. And people aren't like, oh, I want my farming job back. Like no one says that. It just moves on and we progress. But I think the biggest concern is going to be like, it's not just, we have bots on Instagram. What about when we have like deep fakes? When you have like a picture of somebody, put enough pictures together, you make a video of Elon Musk saying something. I mean, there's been videos.
Yeah, there's already videos
like
out like that.
Donald Trump, the president, people saying, what if it starts war? What if these deep fakes look so real that it causes issues and problems, or manipulates markets, or manipulates people's thought processes, which it probably already does, and we have no idea.
Yeah.
What levels?
We'll have to get the proof. We'll have to meet up in person and like, screw all video meetings. Maybe it brings all of us together. Kumbaya.
Maybe. Or
but
just segregate.
Yeah, like when you extrapolate it out, like with you connect the ChatGPT and the deepfake technology, and what we can already do by typing in, hey, I want an image with Bam and Evan with the flower and drinking Starbucks. Yeah. You'll be able to. I was thinking about this at some point in the future. Just talk. Explain a script or a movie or a scene, and it will just make it.
Yeah. That is
like, hey, I want a scene where Evan and Bam are wrestling jiu-jitsu in the middle of my penthouse, and then we just like take a picture of the penthouse, picture of both of you, and then it will spit it out in avatar level graphics, just like wrestling on top of my DJ deck.
I really don't think that's
little did you know we were actually rolling jiu-jitsu right here and just filming it.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's that far away now. Like, it's just put images together with movement, put it together, 24 frames, you got a video. Add a bit of audio, which it already can do. Like, how are you going to know? I mean, the only thing I was thinking was maybe blockchain, like you associate certain things to blockchain so you know it's legit.
Yeah,
so
real, not a deepfake. Yeah, the deepfake thing is going to be interesting. And then, I mean, let's say they could have made Avatar just by talking to an AI, and it just like does.
Telling
like, I guess you still got to write the script and the characters and everything, so they could just make Avatar faster and cheaper. Is that good or bad? Like, who knows?
Crazy,
but anyway, it's gonna be interesting.
Quantum computing.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, hashtag strange times. Evan, what is the secret to success as a digital solopreneur?
I mean, I don't think there's one secret, man. I think like it's an interesting time because for me personally, this last year.
turnkey, you make $1 million.
Yeah,
dude.
you literally you should just wake up and then like you should have $1 million in your bank like same day you
what
start.
do you do the day before?
Yeah, like
Just
the day before,
manifest
just
it,
get a
bro.
good night's rest and like
Just play this YouTube video while
Yeah.
you sleep. It's like
then
manifesting
just
millions.
just
You
listen
wake
to
up.
Les Brown on repeat and Grant Cardone and then wake up and you should be rich. I don't know if it didn't work for you. That's what I
sleepwalk and
did.
You start doing the right thing.
If it didn't work for you,
You gotta
then-
upgrade to the advanced course. Dude.
yeah, of course, upsell like to $20,000 courses. But
Yeah.
no, man, I think it's an interesting time for me. Like 2022 and the end of 21 was a good time to shift from just me being direct response copywriter and selling to clients and doing my stuff. Like I do the marketing and the sales process and closing them and work on that and edit and turn in. Used to do everything and all things at once. But I've been shifting obviously into using higher talent, people that I manage, people that I like take care of and who are like A players and very high leverage players on the team, so I can keep it small and potent. So I think like before I got to that point, I guess there were a few different things, like obviously getting a marketing process and lead generation system consistent so you can get clients in the door. If you're a solopreneur for service businesses at least, so many more business models and industries obviously to play with, but getting a sales process down and a call script and a fitted, unique positioning that you have to like close clients that are relevant in your niche and then screen out the ones who aren't, obviously, disqualify more than you qualify. And then of course like getting the nice branding and packaging structure set up and pricing and the offer, and then a nice personal brand as well that goes on with that. I mean, that has to be clean as you start out. If you're brand new at this, you want to obviously delete all the old stuff that you've just been carelessly posting for the last decade that makes you look bad or is just like puts you in a bad light or is just unnecessary. It doesn't help you. Delete all that, clean up your socials, start getting a nice LinkedIn profile going, ideally with recommendations from clients or people that you trust and who you've provided value to in some way. At least if you're starting, maybe you don't have a portfolio, whatever. You need to gather all the social proof and testimonials and other people vouching for you as you can, and then pump that on like Facebook, LinkedIn primarily, maybe some Instagram depending on what you're doing, TikTok, whatever. Make sure your personal brand is clean and like sharp and like it shows and demonstrates what you do and who you are. It shows a little bit of fun, but it shows a little bit of work and shows a little bit of balance, and people can get a feel whether they want to work for you or not, or work with you rather.
Build the trust.
Yeah, building trust. So those are probably the biggest main keys, and then obviously just consistency and processes, like doing the same thing every day if it's getting results, and stop doing the stuff that doesn't get results. Sounds very simple and high level, but it's true. It's cliche, but you need to do something every single day or do a handful of somethings every single day and measure those results from those things that you're doing, and then whether they're working or not, which ones you can tweak, how you can test your approaches against your current one, kind of like in copy when you have like a control and you're trying to beat it with new variables, same concept. So yeah, that's the handful of skills that you need and most important things, and that's all. That's the small secret to success. Just do all that.
Yeah, just do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only takes a few hours, and like you'll be making
Yeah, you
like
should
10K.
Build that social media in like a couple of days.
No, yeah, build
Earnings
your social
disclosure.
medias.
Disclaimer.
I mean, we live in this is the age of the influencer, and so that's where everything is going. So build up your personal brand. I always tell guys when they ask me where should I start. All right, so like freelancing / a remote job. That's the easiest way to start working from wherever. Have this location freedom, schedule freedom, remote closing. Lots of guys are starting to do that. So be a sales closer for someone like Evan, someone like me, someone with a course.
Yeah.
I have other videos on that. And then on the side, always build up your personal brand on your LinkedIn, on your YouTube, as a thought leader, as an expert in the space. And so, oh yeah, if you watched this far, join the Discord, message me on Instagram if you are building a service-based business or any sort of remote business. I'm building a Discord for remote entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia. Check it out. And if you haven't liked the button, you should probably like that.
Smash
all right,
that like button.
because it's like that.
To be fair, the Discord is actually really good for anyone who wants to join. Like it has so many. I mean, are you in the Discord?
I'm not.
Ben,
yet,
I
actually.
got Ben in yesterday.
Discord, yeah.
Discord.
I
Oh, you get out of here.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Ben got in yesterday.
No, it is so good. Like because there's so many people from all over the world. Like anywhere you go, especially if you're new. I'm just plugging your Discord because I know it's sick.
It's the future, dude. It's so cool. That whole platform is fucking dope.
So good.
Bam, how do you compare living in UK versus Thailand?
Oh, you can't compare, man. There is no comparison because it's so unbelievably different. And I mean, I guess it's easy for me to say because I got plotted into a whole new world where everything is just mentally insane. But
Mentally
maybe
insane.
if I was,
That's a quotable.
mentally insane. if
The UK is just mentally insane.
But the thing is, like, once you come into, if I don't know how it would be if I didn't basically start from where, like with you guys and how whatever level that is. I couldn't even explain it, but like I don't know how it would be the alternative because maybe it'd be quite similar, just hotter, like just a hotter like environment. Everyone's Asian, but besides that, it's basically like because Thailand's quite westernized as a place goes. It's quite westernized. I mean, you know, there's loads of things that aren't westernized, but you can easily live here. You can easily have like a completely normal lifestyle, order food, taxis, everything. Definitely cheaper for sure. Like comparison is non-existent. But if you're going to compare the UK as a place, like Thai people are so much happier.
Yeah.
Way happier. Just genuinely more friendly, more willing to say hello. I love the UK though, I'm not even trying to hate, but there is such a big difference because weather makes a huge difference. Weather makes a massive impact. I have no idea what it's like, but
Yeah, it's
comparison, I genuinely believe anyone who isn't, who's just even a little bit open-minded, they could easily move to Thailand and be like, okay, yeah, no problem. This is not an issue for me. The only thing for me would be family and friends for sure. If they lived here, what's the UK, mate?
Yeah. Let's take a 2-minute break and turn that light back on.
5 minutes later.
All right. Have you got one more question for moi?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, what are a few of your biggest takeaways for service business operation and scaling in 22?
Woo! Woo! Yeah. So takeaways. So my agency kind of hit this plateau around like 50K MRR, and so there's many things, many businesses, agencies, all sorts of businesses have these quote unquote plateaus. How do you scale to the next level?
Yeah.
Many things. Just had a meeting today. Just did some huge whiteboard planning, strategizing, and you know, in digital marketing in general, and in marketing, it's test, keeps what's best.
Yeah.
Freaking be better, do better, try more things, and so any sort of business comes with having a good team. How are you standing out from the competition? And then also just like seeing the trends, like what's working out there with B2B.
Yeah.
You know, is it LinkedIn? So I've got to double down with LinkedIn. Is it TikTok? Is it Google? So just staying in tap with the trends with any business and getting on that stuff.
Staying in tap with the trends in terms of like marketing and how you're getting out there and finding clients, or just
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah, like for example, there's probably, you know, opportunity with TikTok. I'm not even on there.
Oh, wow.
You know, my first impression would be,
You're Riley.
B2B is not on TikTok, but it probably is.
Yes.
I just had a guy in the Discord. He's a LinkedIn specialist, and he hits me up and he's like, "Why are you not posting daily on LinkedIn?" I should be, right? I have all this video content, and I also want to grow. So my kind of plan for this year: grow on YouTube, more high quality tutorials about Amazon stuff, targeting businesses, brands, companies, and then also put those kind of mini courses, free video mini courses on LinkedIn. And then kind of have the value ladder, maybe a free ebook, and then maybe a low ticket, you know, kind of package digital product, checklist, templates, everything to help brands grow on Amazon. And then it goes up to your core done for you service.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Crazy. Let's see. I got questions, man. I got questions.
Alright.
Questions of both of you.
Shoot.
And because, like, obviously, my perspective's gonna be slightly different because you guys have been doing it a lot longer than me. But my biggest one is something that I'm really interested in is what was the most difficult thing for both of you? I mean, what was the, like, you know what, this thing, like, you know, I'm sure there's many, but was there like anything specific that like, wow, this is one hell of a hurdle. This is one hell of a challenge.
I mean, in the very beginning, just to a refresh, like you can go back and watch these podcasts. Me and Evan did the first podcast on hoverboard
Hovercast.
I remember.
in the
I've
Times
seen it.
Square
I've
of
seen it.
That was it. That was
Saigon,
the hardest thing
Vietnam.
we've ever done in
Saigon.
entrepreneurship.
And we were making
those.
like $1,000 to $2,000 a month profit.
Yeah.
Evan's apartment was like $200 a month. My apartment was $200 a month, and that was our first 2 to 3 years
Yeah.
as just aspiring digital nomads, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just like the freedom to be our own boss and live this digital nomad life. Like that was, for the first 3 years, we were making like low,
Nothing.
getting by money for sure. And now we're living in big places and we can travel wherever. And you will get to that spot, but doesn't always happen overnight. And so that's a hurdle.
That's a big old hurdle.
And
That was
some
a
level,
hurdle,
that can be really stressful. But
Yeah.
as I mentioned in the podcast before, there's levels to success, and just being able to be out in this tropical place is a level of success on into its own. And so like people say like, what's isn't it like stressful running all these things? I'm like, stressful, having a 9 to 5 is stressful, dude.
Yeah.
Like reporting your boss is stressful. Like I would rather be, and you got to ask yourself, would you rather be making $2,000 a month profit and be able to live in Thailand on the tropics? You're gonna be living in a very basic room and be eating a lot of pad thai and fried rice, and you're gonna get more successful, of course, because you believe in yourself, and that's why we're choosing this path. Or would you rather make $5K a month? That's like average $60K a year and work a 9 to 5 in an office. So
Yeah, and you're not pocketing any of that, and you don't have control or freedom of your life. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. The more we make, the more outflows.
yeah, exactly.
And this goes with, everyone knows this. That's why
Lifestyle
most of
creep.
America is paycheck to paycheck anyway.
Yeah.
And lifestyle creep, and happens in my life too, all of our lives, the more we make, the more we outflow. And so, it's all relative, but the purpose of it is we chose to do our own thing, be our own boss, and also we are travel minded. We love travel, love like having sun. As you mentioned, the weather is just a huge thing. And so, that's why people in the US, the UK, they retire and they go to Arizona, where it's like, that's what people do when they're like finished. They're like, finally we can go live half the year in a sunny place.
Yeah.
We do that in a sunny place, 11 months of the year.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say to that question?
Dude, yeah, it's funny that you brought that up, because honestly, that would be my exact same answer.
Yeah.
Like literally just getting over the initial hurdle of sucking and being a noob.
Okay.
And
I
like,
like that.
it's hard, bro, because most people, that will weed 90+% of people out, and they will quit. And that's part of the reason why we have these super high business failure statistics, is because most people quit, or they don't adapt fast enough, or they keep trying stuff that doesn't work, and da-da-da. So yeah, I mean, honestly, for the first several years for me, like the money slog, like just going through the mud and just not having enough, like having barely enough for this and next month, maybe, and then like sweating, getting to the next month and being like, do I have enough for next month? And that's like terrible. But it's like, A, you're building character, B, you're building discipline for the times that it becomes, even easier. Like Charlie Munger says, like, maybe you don't get fast success up front, but you're building discipline for those times, so you know how to not, screw it up when you do get successful, or you hit a wave, plateau, burst through, right? So yeah, like for me, I had to actually work on unwiring my subconscious beliefs about money and the abundance of it and the availability of it literally everywhere, and your ability to go chase it and attract it and build it and manifest it. It sounds all woo-woo, but a lot of this stuff is very subconscious and deep, and programming, familial lineages, and teachers and schools, and upbringing and social class and whatever. So for me, I was unlearning a lot of that. Once I was able to get to that subconscious level of like, unlearning bullshit, I was able to pick up better keys that serve me, with more prosperity, obviously, like just fundamental concepts. And then that's kind of the soft side. But then the hard side, hard skills, is like actually learning how to write, track a P&L, and then like do it for your business and do it for your personal and your budgets, and like work on, there's 3 tenets of keeping money, right? Is like, earning it first and keeping it, and then, multiplying it and growing it, right? So you have to learn how to earn it in terms of like marketing, sales, closing, getting the funnels down, whatever, selling a service or a product. and you have to work on keeping it instead of blowing it, or reinvesting too much that you don't have, or maybe like putting too much of a big bet up on, let's say like what I did with my first Amazon shipment. I just plunked my net worth into my shipment. I was like, this is gonna work because it's inevitable because success.
Yeah.
And it was just like so naive.
Because FBA, dude.
Yeah, because FBA and e-commerce. So like this
Everybody
is the wave, and you put your money here. And
there's no way you can lose in it.
yeah, but I went all in, and that was like, okay, that was great, but it was way too much because then I just didn't cash flow for a long time. Obviously, inevitable business challenges happened. My inventory was floating in the cloud for months on end. I was banging the phones on Amazon. You remember this?
Dude, I remember your wheel chocks, dude.
Yeah, the wheel chucks. I was like sweating about going for some cafe coffee and some lunch with him or something in Saigon,
Yeah.
spending $10. it was bad. Like, it was very bad.
Wait,
I
wheel
remember,
chocks?
Yeah, like these chocks that like back up against the tires so you can put it up and
They're
jack
like
up your
triangle
car.
bricks that you put behind your car when you
Yeah,
park on a
like
hill.
made of rubber.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like big car guy, right? So I used to use these products. So that was the first niche that I kind of went into.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
just
yeah.
did that, and I spent basically all the money that I had.
But
anyways,
that's your first product, or like
yeah,
one of them?
yeah, first
Crazy.
product on Amazon, yeah. And it worked super well actually. When the inventory started hitting, it started selling like $300-500 a day, and it was like
Yeah.
more money than I'd ever had, and I was just like so happy with that. But even then, I didn't know how to manage it, so it just all outflowed. And so yeah, anyways. And then obviously when you have a little bit more excess after you've earned and kept it, then you have to grow it. So you have to put it into like back into your business. Danny always says cash is gasoline, right? So cash is gas for your business. You pump it back onto the fire that you have burning on your primary income. Secondarily, you're going to put money into passive assets like stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever. And so, but those should be like a distant second or third after you have your primary business, centered, and then maybe a second income. So those are all hard-won lessons. And yeah, just to wrap that up, I would say the end of that, like, this is not to brag at all. Obviously, this is just for my own personal reflection and context. Is like, I used to spend $200 on an apartment, right, a month, and that was kind of a lot for me because I was like, every month and motorbike and gym, and then now, like, when I sit down to write copy, my hourly rate is $1,000 an hour. So I don't charge by the hour, but like, if I get a project for $5 grand, 10 grand, 12 grand, whatever, and I'm working on it myself, or I'm using my writers to like leverage that and then copy chief the whole thing, I'm obviously measuring every single second that I put down on the actual project. And if it's 5K, 8 grand, whatever, and I spend, 5 or less hours, obviously, then I'm making $1,000, net off that per hour. And I'm not doing that like every single day. I'm not making, whatever, $16,000 a day by any means, but I'm just saying that when I get a project, that's what I'm sitting down and earning off of that project. And so I was going through my yearly review in anticipation. I do the same thing every year. And there were some years where I made 15 grand, like crazy, terrible scarcity.
Days, yeah.
But then there's like last year and the year before, there's been several months where I make 15 grand net.
Easy.
And so it's like, if you don't keep track of those bases, you're gonna lose the sight of how far you've come.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest motivators to me, because sometimes personally, this is a personal issue, but I feel, I'm not doing enough, not working fast enough, working hard enough, and I don't have the right people, like I'm set a very high standard for myself all the time. So I get kind of discouraged sometimes until I start looking back at how far I've come. So
see, that's the thing, like what you just said, where people, most people would be like, well, I deserve a day off. Like that's the average person's mentality. Well, I've worked really hard, I deserve a day off. But the people, like generally successful individuals, would always like, it's more a case of you're doing a lot, but you still feel like you haven't done enough. And
it's like being swallorexic, like when you're a super jacked dude and you look in the mirror and you think you're all skinny and small, so you go eat more protein and rest. It's like, dude, you're already jacked.
That's me.
But you don't want to relax because you want to, like, obviously you want to keep pushing, but it's kind of like, you're right. It's like a mind meld there.
What's the reason why? Because
standards, I think.
I mean, not just for that. I mean, like taking that initial step, being like, this is what I'm going to commit to. Because for you guys, it wasn't even a gradual thing in the sense of, you know what, I'm going to start building this business from the ground. You left your country, went to a seminar, and decided like, we're going to stick it out here. That's not gradual. That's like, okay, cool. Let's jump into a volcano, figure out if we can survive.
Yeah, we went to the Church of Digital Nomad cult. we swore our allegiance.
Got put into the
blood oath.
Thailand waters and
for the Wi-Fi money.
Well, so going to a conference is definitely really kicked it off. But and then YouTube basically. So there's like, I just released this clip on Instagram, like, what is your why, or something like that. Like there's 2 reasons. Like, so level 1 of doing what we do is be your own boss / entrepreneur. That's kind of hemisphere 1. And then hemisphere 2 of what we do is digital nomad / location independent / travel minded entrepreneur. We love to travel and live in different cities and countries. So you put those both together, that's what we're doing. We're working for your own self. That's a huge, I don't care if you stay in your hometown, that's a huge thing, huge life choice. I want to be my own boss. I don't want to report to anyone. And so that comes with a whole life journey. Like I got to make my own business and products and hiring, and I got to be the CEO, and like, whoa, that's a whole life decision. And then the other whole life decision is I want to live in another country. Like that's a whole nother, leave my country and go live somewhere else. Whoa, that's a whole nother. And so we're doing both of those at the same time. It's kind of two halves of our discussion in my channel and everything. Yeah. There's the living abroad travel, and then there's the build your own business. And so where the decision came from, I talked about in that Instagram clip. I got convinced that I want to be my own boss forever when I was doing door-to-door sales, and I knocked on a family, and it's this dad was doing a Amway MLM. He invited me to meetings, and then they give you he reverse sold me when I was trying to sell.
We don't need any Comcast TVs back. Why don't you come in and talk about what we got?
Let me show
and so they give you the books of Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant, like you'll never be rich as an employee. And I was like, oh shit. Actually, that clicks with me. Yeah. I definitely want to be a leader and a business owner. I want to be rich for sure. Yeah. And then the other side of it, the travel, was when Parker did his semester abroad in Thailand, and then me and Danny came out to visit, and that was 2012. Yeah. And then got a taste of Asia, of the tropics, first time traveling abroad. And then we were like, let's like work out here for a year, do like a job thing. Started looking on YouTube, found Johnny's video, Chiang Mai co-working space tour, digital nomad life, Chiang Mai, Thailand. I'm like, what? Let's be digital nomads. Yeah. Went to his conference, and Evan was at the same conference. That's when we met 8 years ago.
Yeah. I think I like a lot of long-term viewers of this channel know like my background story and what Riley did and how we met and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like just a refresher. Like it was the same thing for me. I wasn't doing door-to-door sales, but I was in college, and I was just like learning about various random things in the graphic design industry and space, and it was just like, I felt that A, it was so expensive, and B, it was just like so slow. Like I'm an autodidact. Like I like to teach myself things. I like to read. I like to absorb knowledge, and I can just do it way faster for free or less money than I was just paying tuition. And then just kind of, I felt like I was wasting time, even though I had a giantly full class load, like the max credits you could take every semester, and still just not even challenged. I felt like high school was harder. Like I had trigonometry in high school, and that was like harder than what I was doing in college and stuff. And it was, and I mean, I'm not good at math by any means, but anyway, so then I just like, same thing. I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube and like, blogs and content and all this stuff. And then I found Johnny's stuff, and then it led me to the dropship lifestyle thing. And then obviously that was the first foot in the door, is all we needed. And then I dropped out of college and moved to Thailand with a one-way ticket 8 years ago. And that was that.
That's commitment. That is
but that's how we met. That's how we linked up. That's how we built our initial foundation and our network. And a lot of people are spread out around the globe after that, but we're still tight with a lot of those day ones. And so that's really cool. But like, that's how it happens.
What do you think your like purpose is? I mean, again, it applies to both, but I'm just curious. Like, I mean, I believe in God. I have since I was young. I started learning why I believed in God in the first place. And then I just realized that there's no point in living a life unless it's purpose driven, like unless there's real meaning behind why I'm doing things and what I'm doing.
Go ahead, Black.
Yeah, like one of the things I hate is like waste.
I remember you telling me this a
lot. I wish people would recycle more. That's one.
That's like
one
I've never expected that
microcosm of it. But no, I'm just joking. But it's don't waste your life potential. And so like after you're experiencing, oh my God, life can be like sunny all the time and like so happy and like not, breaking out of the rat race, breaking out of the matrix, dude. And so like my purpose, right now is this podcast helping thousands of other versions of myself break out of the rat race and experience the planet. This is the first generation in history that we can really fully experience the planet.
Yeah.
Like we can live anywhere. Like
Yeah.
there's no freaking excuse. We have the laptops, we have the phones, we have the planes, and our parents did not.
Yeah,
We
and
have the planes.
we almost have Starlink as well.
And
So
Starlink
internet
is here, dude.
is-
My
what
dad
is it?
uses it in our cabin now.
What,
We
you been
got it.
serious? It
Yeah,
works?
dog. It's been live for like 2 years.
Holy shit.
We have it at my cabin.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they were like, dude, it's so awesome. And so, yeah, you can work from like middle of a boat now. And so like
mad.
this planet is so, it's amazing. It's the most amazing thing for trillions of miles. Not even compare. Like Mars is gonna be cool. There's humans are gonna be there in a matter of years. But like Mars sucks. It's a big desert. Like here, it's like fucking Avatar world. Like the Avatar movie is Earth. It is an insane, beautiful gem of creation of existence, and you need to experience it before you die, because I almost feel it's our obligation now as
Yeah.
the first generation. And we talked about on the Marcus podcast, like, and he brought this up, like our parents and our grandparents like fought in wars and stuff for this amount of freedom that we have in this world. Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Let's use it. We got these magic tools, so that's some purpose for you.
Yeah. Good answer. I would say, for me, man, like my purpose ultimately is to essentially become the most well-rounded and highest potential, gleaning and experiencing version of myself that I possibly can. So like in every area, right? So right now, I'm always surrounded by like high-level people who are like genuine and positive, with positive intent, and who are always working on their best selves and working on, developing themselves in all categories as well. And I'm always trying to do the same, and like always set a new high standard for myself that I will never eventually reach my ultimate highest potential, whatever. It just always keeps getting extended when I hit new milestones. Yeah, but it's not really about that. Like life is not a race to the end. I mean, because the end we're all just ash, right? So it's like it's a journey. We have to enjoy it, and I remember to tell myself this quite often. But my lifestyle now looks like waking up, reading books that interest me and teach me new things. Going to the gym to lift weights and get strong and remain flexible and mobile, like boxing with a coach that helps me completely level up my abilities in martial arts and striking and jiu-jitsu and MMA, and then having, the chef like cook the healthiest fresh food every single day that's optimizing my entire 5-day a week, workout routine, and then putting a mass amount of hours into my business so that I can level up my skills, become a better entrepreneur, become stronger positioned in the market, and then also, of course, with my mindset and my relationships and with my travel and freedom and experiences and options and opportunities that keep increasing and magnifying to even just bring me more pleasure and more experience and more challenge as I reach new levels as well. So really, in a word, it's becoming the most optimal, high level and highest potential reaching version of myself that I possibly can in every area. And that's a never-ending journey. So,
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Like through and through?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, bro. Most of the time.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I understand why people ask that, but yeah, man, so fucking happy. Compared to old job life, we're at a fucking 11, a 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
This is the way to be. It's the way to be, bros.
I would say the only thing that detracts from my happiness is my standard for myself, which I will never meet. And sometimes I got to recognize how to weigh those options in terms of where I am, where I want to be, what I've already achieved versus what I'm going towards, what I've become, what I wanted to, looking back, what I wanted to become, which is what I am now, which is kind of how that whole process works. But never really being satisfied or content with that and just settling, obviously.
Yeah.
So sometimes I can let that detract from my overall base level of happiness by just continuing to reach and strive and look for the next horizon opportunity and best version of myself. But if I do that too much, I get burnt out, and if I don't do it enough, I get comfortable. So I'm trying to push the line where I'm still a little bit uncomfortable at all times, comfortable with being uncomfortable, growing, pain, stretching, pushing, but not also taking for granted the awesome life that I built and being thankful for that, because and the people in my life and my experiences that I've had and continue to have. And I mean, it's incredible. Every year my life gets significantly better.
Yeah, I can say that for sure.
Yeah.
I can say that for sure. Last
So
year I
that's
was in
it,
the
yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
Fucking hating myself. So
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It's appreciating what you have. Like someone was saying this, like Nav, he's like, he took a couple chocolate mushrooms or mushroom chocolates, and he
Of
was
course
like,
he's gonna appreciate it.
man, like it makes me realize like how much I have. I never realized it. Like I have 2 Lambos. Like whoa.
Okay,
Like,
well,
instead
okay.
of worrying about like. Instead
Well,
of
he
worrying
can
about
say-
like
Not everyone can say
most
that,
people are
man.
like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? But
Yeah.
like these mushroom chocolates made me realize like, whoa, look at everything I have. And
Said
so
it
we
so
should also,
casually.
have that mindset of gratefulness as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we're all like, us hustlers trying to be better and better. But
Yeah.
yeah, at the same time, appreciate what you have.
I got one
Appreciate
for
y'all
you.
motherfuckers. All right, you got one?
Bam. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but
Is this the last one? We could do it up at the viewpoint.
I have one last or 2 last for Bam and 1 last for you.
All right, cool. Do
So
one
Bam,
more here.
follow up on the last question I asked you. What's your big vision for 23 and beyond, knowing what you now know from the previous question of being abroad and working?
The big one for me is for sure the sustainability, because like I understand like where I am and what is possible. So it's like filling that gap, like knowing, well, okay, well, what can I do to, first of all, add value, as much value as I can, and like add value to myself and make sure that I'm continuously progressing. Like it's going from like one hell of a leap to this year. Like I fully understand the fact that it's such a big difference that, okay, well, I don't want to slow down momentum. I don't want to slow it down. I feel like that's really easy
never.
to do. So how do I keep that going, and how do I amplify that, and how do I become better through the process? Like I said, as much as it means to me, like for me, it has to be something I care about. Like for me, like I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a fairy, but like I have to be like super involved in something and actually give a shit. Otherwise, like, it's hard for me to commit my time. And you know what, the people as well, for sure, because I feel so blessed to be in an environment where I was just introduced to, like, I mean, again, going back through the same thing I always say, but I just feel like super fortunate, because at any point, before I even came out here, and I think you said the same thing, you have no idea what the person's going to be like. I have no idea what you guys are going to be like. And what if they're fucking arseholes? I mean, they are, but they're great arseholes.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's
we're cool
what I mean. That's
assholes.
what you get from it. And then, I mean, the YouTube definitely helps. Like, it gave me an idea of what I was getting into. But yeah, like,
He wasn't ready.
yeah, I guess
didn't know.
it's pretty much that. But like, I guess for me, it's a case of continuing momentum. I've got 100% got goals. I've written down goals. I always write down goals and have things that I physically can check off.
Yeah.
And I've got those, and I read them, and I make sure that's the direction I'm going to. And every like year, or usually on my birthday, I do like a recollection of the year. Like, am I closer to my goals than I was last year? And yeah, for sure. And I think that just keeps me grounded and reassured that, yeah, it's going to be okay.
Nice.
I'm on the right track.
It's gonna be alright.
All right.
It's gonna be alright.
It's gonna be all right.
If you can go back in time and talk to your former younger self, what is one thing you would tell yourself?
2011, invest in Bitcoin. Put all your money in there. No. One thing to go back. I mean, I don't have any like regrets or anything. Hindsight 2020 stuff is hindsight 2020 stuff. If it's another version of myself right now, Amazon FBA is too competitive nowadays. You need more money to start that. I would get into building a personal brand, services, remote closing, be an apprentice or an intern for someone who you aspire to be, and do what they do. So
Yeah, I would say it's more for me about like the pressure that you apply to what you're trying to do and the skills that you need to learn. So like, again, like you said, hindsight 2020 is perfect, perfect vision. Hindsight is 2020. But there were certain times in the past where I like let my foot off the gas a little bit too much because I was enjoying my work-life balance, making like, $5,000 a month or something. And this enjoying Bali and then doing yoga stuff and then like meeting people and socializing and doing all that stuff, which is great. And formed me into who I am now. But I think being well-rounded is important, but only up to a point. I think you need to be well-rounded. You need to stack several linear skills if you look at like being well-rounded as like a pillar or like a slab of, marble, let's say. I think pillars hold up that said slab, and each pillar is like a skill set or an experience that you had or several experiences over time that you glean insights from. So if I were 22 again or something, I would just continue to remain in that kind of crazy tunnel until I made it absolutely completely out, like 6-figure months plus consistently or whatever, mil plus a year, right? Just until like you got everything with the finances settled, because financially setting yourself up for the future is arguably one of the most important things you can do in your entire life. And it's the earlier that you can do, the more, the better. And the more that compounds later on throughout your late 20s, 30s, 40s. And if you're really on it from an early start, you know, like Ben, for instance, you know, shout out the homie Strusnik, but a great young killer kid who just started at like 12 and now he's absolutely just set. And he's got all his businesses like completely dialed in, huge teams, tons of investments, was able to retire his mom. He's just, you know, he's a killer. He's a young killer and he's one of my best friends, you know? And so it's like a great example of guys like that. Or Toon, when we met in Dropship Lifestyle days, he was just so young, so crushing it. Insane levels at such a young age. And you don't have to make it all by 25 or whatever, but I would say if I could personally go back to my 23, 24, 5, 6 years, I would probably just continue to push it even harder, because you're absolutely as vital as you're ever going to be in your 20s, let's say 30s. You can push a lot. You can push very hard without getting burned out, as long as you have a marathon mindset and you're actually setting up your other activities to support that mission going forward. And so you can take a lot more punishment than you think. And I think it wouldn't be apt or like, you know, appropriate to take the foot off the gas even a little bit. Or I mean, sometimes to enjoy some stuff, but get back to it. I just wish I probably would have pushed even harder, because I was going ridiculously hard from like 20 to 24, which is great. But then around mid-20s, personally for me, I didn't stop or quit or slow down or get lazy, not by any means, but I was balancing everything very holistically, which is good on one side. But it's also like, well, if I would have pushed a little bit harder financially, I would have been, you know, further along now, which is something that I'm learning and bringing into 23 as well. And 22, I was really hustling. And so it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like sacrifice, commitment, blah, blah, blah. But really when you look around and see what you're sacrificing, which is at what? Socializing, partying, maybe traveling some, it's all good stuff. But it's like you're not sacrificing. You're really just doing what you should be doing, and you're getting ahead in life. So that's what I would say to my younger self.
True that. So maybe get into more of a head down work mode. All right, you can still go out like on the weekend once a week, but maybe set up some more high productivity setups. Like I remember those few years when you were living in Ubud, and you were like, I work, you know, 2 days a week these days, and like that type of stuff. Like, so avoid Ubud in the hippies, guys.
No, I'm just kidding.
You know,
but on the other hand, I remember that as well. Like I did take a quarter off completely, but it was specifically to work on relationships in my life that needed healing desperately. And if they didn't get that way, it would not be the same with those people now. And I'm very thankful and grateful for that. And I had leadership and mentorship to that position as well. So I'm not saying that was a waste of time by any means. I don't have any regrets either. Yeah. But the hindsight is 2020, where it's like, well, you still could really push it hard and wake up early and read crazy and consume content and work your ass off, and then just stay on it without really letting up the gas and not even feel it in your 20s hardly, as long as you're sleeping well, get massages, you know, get the sun, get good food, sleep, and whatever. So that's what I would say. I mean, and now I'm just taking that lesson into the next year as well. And I was just crushing 22 with a lot of grind, but it's 23, same thing. I'm going to plant where I'm at in Tbilisi for now, and then just not go anywhere, and really just invest the entire year into like systemizing that routine again and getting back into that momentum flow, which is really, really solid for me because I have all the things dialed in, good setup, and that's really important for my productivity, health, and happiness. So yeah, I mean, I'm implementing those lessons, but yeah, that's what I would say if I was younger.
I mean, dude, you already got started like at 20. You already dropped out of college. That's already a huge freaking thing. I mean, no regrets, but I mean, I know many of us are not using their college degree. So I mean, Ben, did you say Ben got started at 12?
He's on the YouTube channels, SEO,
what?
Stuff,
And he's how old now?
23.
What? We're gonna do a podcast. By the way, we're lining one up. Anyway, look at this fucking view. New York City, BH. Just kidding. It's New York City of Thailand. BH. Bam, any more questions?
I do got one more for you, please.
All right, cool.
Okay, so my last one, and then one more for you, Bam, to cap it off. It's an easy one. But Riley, so what have been the highest leverage activities in your business when it comes to marketing, hiring, management, fulfillment, stuff like that? Highest leverage activities.
Highest leverage activities. Yeah, I would say having some great video content, basically a VSL if you're an agency or if you're a professional offering any services, have that VSL that introduces you, shows some case studies, shows your strategies, and if you don't know, it's a video sales letter, basically a mini webinar that overviews your entire service, what you do. So after watching that video, potential clients and customers are like, all right, I get this guy, I get his background, I get the case studies, I've seen everything. They got very minimal questions after that. It does all the selling for you before they potentially get on the discovery call, sales call, or even just click to sign up. So follow those best practices and strategies in terms of use video. I don't care if it's a physical product or anything. Like, you can do an infomercial. It's like that's a tried and true from back in the day. Yeah. Shopping on TV, they do 30-minute, 1 hour infomercials about whatever, sewing machine or whatever it is. So use video to do all the selling for you, onto the heavy lifting. And so I have many clients that are like, yeah, I watched all your videos. Like, yeah, when can we start? Yeah. And you don't even need the sales call. So
right. Cool. Good stuff. We're gonna finish this off on a fun tip. All right.
Okay.
Bruv. Right. How hard is it to backflip, mate?
How hard is the backflip? It's actually really easy. I don't know. This guy's done it. I've seen him do it into a pool, out of nowhere. I did not expect it. Bro, look, if you could do it into a pool, you can do it standing up. I'm telling you now. If you can just let's work on that. I turned around one day, he came back from a night out and he just goes, whoop! I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? What's going on? And yeah, no, it's actually really easy. It's a lot easier than you think. It's definitely not what you expect. So if you want to learn, I used to be a coach. Come through. YouTube, tutorials. That's my courses. That's what I'm going to sell to people. Hey guys, look, I can teach you flips. I can teach you flips. I did that for too long. I used to coach a long time.
Yay, shoot.
All right, Evan, see you in
Phuket.
In another tropical paradise.
Yep.
Let's get it. Yep. Yo, if you watch it, for the 5 to 10 people that watch till the end, share this.
Respect.
Follow Evan and Bam. See you guys on the gram.
Gang.
All right, so new channel for the podcast. I just made a new channel just for the podcast.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so if you watch this to the end, go subscribe, click right here on Evan's fucking face right here. Watch the full episode where we go deeper, and subscribe to the podcast channel for y'all 300 or so loyal viewers of the podcast.
If you're in Bangkok, go check out Daddy's.
Yes.
W District, Sukhumvit 1.
Yep. Cannabis, new weed shop that our boys just opened. And so, and then also we're here at the Phuket spot, and I'll be here for January. So if you know anyone cool that I should have on at the Phuket spot couch, then let me know, and let me know what kind of topics you want to see on the podcast in 2023. Yeah. Let's get it. All right. Peace.